Alrighty then, and Happy New Year to all of you. Yes, we are about 1 hour and 5 minutes into 2026, and thank God for that. It's over now. Yeah, we can go to bed and sleep, but I need to do this video before I can do that, so... Oh yeah, I hope you came safely into the new year and still have all your fingers and hands and whatever. So I did. I just have a lovely night here alone with my good friend that's sleeping now. Yeah, she was not so happy tonight. She usually not having any problem about fireworks, but this night, but she's old. I think it's because I get it too, and I'm old too, so maybe that is why. So, and of course, I had my stable friend here also. Yeah, of course, he looks a little bit toast. Yeah, but we are also over 1 hour into the new year, so he is toasted. I think so. But he can go to bed now. So. But yeah, today I think I will start. The plan was that I will go back and start from the beginning, from my childhood, and talk about the way I got the interest about become a sea sailor. But instead of that, I actually kind of wanted to do another thing. Yes, just an idea I got. I know that I made a video some years ago about the ferry I was sailing, about how the instrument works and what it was built up, and basically information about the ferry and how we worked on it. But it was on Danish, so I think I have another video about everything, and I think I will kind of talk over that video. I think it's about maybe 7 to 10 minutes or so, and then I think I will play it and then just speak over it and tell what it is I'm showing, so on English of course, so everybody can understand it. That was just an idea I had. So, and it's not from my childhood. I know that it's part of the last part of my life here. So it's kind of going a little bit. Well, I'm not taking it from the beginning and then move up. I will tell you this story about the ferry, and then we go back to the start, and I will slowly tell you about how my childhood was and how I become interested in getting out to sea and work there. So I think that's the way we're gonna do it this time. So again, Happy New Year. I am so glad you all are here and still are with us, and let's dig into it. So hang on, because it is a high-speed ferry, so you better fasten your seatbelt and get ready. So the ferry Lilleøre. Lilleøre. That's on Danish, yeah. So if you really have to translate it for English, it will be Little Ear. Yeah, that's the way it is, but it sounds weird, so let's just keep it to Lilleøre. I like that. Yeah, the company I was in there, Samsø Rederi, we had two ferries. So there was Lilleøre sailing as a high-speed ferry from the island Samsø to the main city in Jutland, Aarhus. And then we were only passenger and bicycle ferry. And then we had a big ferry going from Samsø to Hov, also in Jylland. and it could transport cars and trucks and passengers. So, and we had a nickname for that too. Of course, we had that. Sailors have nicknames for everything. So we had. So the name of it, the real name of it was Princess Isabella. Yeah, a royal person, of course. But on board our ferry Lilleøre, we called it Big Ear. Of course, yeah, big. There was Big Ear and Little Ear. And then the Lilleøre has, we had a mascot, yeah, and that was Long Ear. That makes sense now, yo. So, but that's just a thing sailors have. Also, we talk a lot to the ferry. I did. I talked to the ferry. I talked to Lilleøre. I had to. I said, "Oh, please give us a good day today. Come on, do that." And if there's something not working as it should, or it did something strange thing, you always say, "Oh no, don't do that, don't do that." But that's the way. And yeah, ships are she. It's a she. Yeah. There's a reason for that. I can guarantee you, if you try sailing a ship, you know it is a woman. Yeah. No, I better watch out what I'm saying now. I can feel it. But, I have a whole list saying things why you call a ship a she. So I should post that someday and get very unpopular with that among some gender. No, but I think pilots do the same with airplanes. They put their hands on it before they walk in the door and they go on board. And then say a couple of words. They're not making a ritual or saying a prayer or something, but they always, I think you have a better understanding when the machinery you are in command of, that you talk to it and be nice to it, So maybe it's a crazy thing. I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, back to Lilleøre. Lilleøre is a high-speed ferry, a high-speed craft as they call it, but to me it's a high-speed ferry, built in 2020 in China and delivered to Samsø Rederi in 21. And I was one of the first that was on board to starting it up on the new route with a new ferry. So, and you always you tried the thing when you have a new car, the smell of new car. Oh my God, that was the same with Lilleøre. Yeah, it smelled so brand new. It was great. It has two main engines. Truck engines, tuned truck engines, V12. Yeah, they produce about 2,800 horsepower, and the ferry has a service speed of 25 knots, and that's about 47 kilometers per hour. It doesn't sound fast, but trust me, on water, it is fast. You really have to be ahead of you. Don't do any stupid certain moves with it when you're sailing that speed. Always look ahead so you know what is going to happen, where the sailboats, and there's a lot of non-sailors sailing sailboats in the summertime. So trust me, and it is our responsibility to always put safety first, as I said. So, of course, we did that. So, yeah. We could carry 296 passengers, and then we were 4 crew members on board. That was kind of nice. Yeah, it's a certain good amount of passengers. And we did not have cars. We only had bicycles. So, and the trip from Aarhus to Samsø was 60 minutes. So I think the trip time is set for 65 minutes in case of something, if bad weather or if there's a lot of traffic in Aarhus. It's very good to have a little amount. Then better be ahead of schedule instead. So also not to push the engines to high-speed sail all the time. So It was kind of good. Um, it is 36.4 meters long, I think, and 10 meters in wide. So it was a nice size, not a big ferry, but it was nice. And I think the draft on it was 1.8 meter. So it's kind of, and when it was, the faster you go, the more it raises up the water. So it did not had that big draft. And also the rudder on it, they are very small, so they were good in high speed. But when we maneuver in harbor, no, that was not good. You could use them, but it was not that much. So we usually used the engine instead because it was a catamaran ferry. So it was with one engine in one hole and one engine in the other. So we kind of used the engine instead to skid the ferry, drifting inside. So sorry. So yeah, that was good. Um, it it was a new ferry for all of us. Yeah, that I mentioned that. So we had a lot of things to learn when we started. One of the things that I like very much about it was that we did like pilots do. Pilots always have one in command, flying the airplane, and then the other one is monitoring and looking ahead of everything, what you're doing, and keeping an eye on instrument. For the one that's flying it. We had the same with the ferry. So the captain can take one trip, and then the chief officer took the next one, and then switched back and one. And it was not only about sailing it. We did that. We actually switched roles like that for maybe a trip from Samsø to Aarhus and then back again. Because also when we were in harbor and we have 15 minutes to unload the ferry and get new passenger on board. So there was a limit for how long you can stay there. So one of the officers stayed on the bridge or in the cockpit, switching the trip around for going back again. The ECDIS, the electronics chart, and there's a lot of paperwork. We did it on a computer, but there's a logbook saying in, and we need to check up weather and all the things like that. So one officer stayed on the bridge doing that, as the other one went down and took the ticket for people or scanned them, so they were registered on board, and help with putting in the bicycles. So there, yeah, I like that. That was a good deal to have it like, so you don't just do one thing and then have to wait till you get promoted but as I say, it is important that both the officers can sail the ferry if in case of something happened to one. If it is the captain, the chief officer needs to be the one can taking charge over it, to assist him, and the chief officer is the captain's extra hand, so yeah, I like that a lot. I liked it. It was a very, very, very nice company to be in, and very amazing colleagues I have. Oh, my colleague was so nice, both from the engine parts and the one working in the catering, and yeah, I loved it very much. It was nice. It was nice. I miss those times. So yeah, but anyway, we are now back in. No, we just moved forward in. That was the thing I would say. In 2026, and as I said before, 2025 was hard. It wasn't a year with ups and downs. There was a lot of positive things too, I have to admit that. So, but there was also down periods. So I'm happy I started this project here, making this channel and trying to. As I said, I don't do it for getting popular and likes and stuff like that. No, it is only because I enjoy doing this and telling my story about my life. And then people can listen or they can skip it if they want to. Back to Lilleøre again. After this video, I will take you to visit the cockpit of the bridge on the ferry, so you can see the instruments. And I screw up something. I don't know why I say so. I think one word, but I say another word. So I will make some text into. I don't want to make a new video. So no, a video. This time it was only voice over recording the video, but no, I don't want to do that. I screw up. I told you I'm not perfect, and I don't want to be perfect. So I screwed up. I say some different things that it is, and different letters and something, but I will text it to her. So just so you know that it's not because I don't know what I'm saying, because in my mind I did think about the right thing, but my mouth is having control over things sometimes, And then after that video, visiting the bridge, I will put in 3 small videos of a departure from Aarhus, so you can see. The one is from where you can see me standing on the bridge, taking the ferry out, or turning around and go out. You see that from the bridge. The next one is from the back of the ferry, where we load the bicycles and some passengers going that way out. So you can see that too. And then the third one, it will be from the shore, so you see it from there. So you see the same departure in 3 different views. I think that could be fun. I think so. I don't know. But to me, it was fun. So you have to think it's fun too. Yeah. When I say it, you have to. No kidding. But anyway, I hope you enjoy it. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, ask me questions if you have something you want to know about. If I can answer it, I gladly do that. So you can just do that. Share it if you want to, or you can just turn off now so you don't have to listen to this weirdo here. That's all up to you. But let's go into it. Let's have a visit on the good, lovely, and beautiful Lilleøre. Have a nice trip. I know you're wondering, why did I have a uniform on with my gold stripes if I'm not working there anymore? Yeah, the reason is that I earned those gold stripes. Yeah, I worked so hard for these 3 gold stripes, so please let me wear it sometimes. And this was a good occasion when I talked about the ferry. I sometimes I really need just to have it on and feel like me as the person I used to be. So that is why I am not working there anymore, sadly. But again, buckle up, fasten your seatbelt, cause you are going to have first a show around in the bridge, and then you're gonna have a trip, not a whole trip, but a departure from Aarhus. So hang on. So here we are on the main deck, on the way up to the upper deck, where we also have passenger seats. And then we turn around the corner here and into some call it the bridge, some call it the cockpit, some say it's the wheelhouse. So basically it's a high-speed ferry, so we call it cockpit. This is where we maneuver when we put the ship to the pier in harbor. We have a window so we can look outside in front of it and after. So, and we can see all the ship side down there. And then we have the machines, the throttles for both engines. We have the rudder. You have one here in the middle. It's for 2 rudders, and you can split the rudder so you can move one from each other. That it was the RMPs and the rudder indicator. We have a distress signals there, so it's kind of like it's an emergency. And VDR, voice data recorder, that catches voices and data on the ship if something happens. This is the radar. It's turned off now. So, and we have cameras because we don't have windows so we can look afterwards. So we have cameras all around to see when we're maneuvering it. It's kind of nice to have. So we have all different angles, and there's a foghorn. That is for the pumps and generators we can do if the chief engineer is not there. So we have the ability to do things ourselves. This is the information center for the passengers where we welcome on board and put some information if they need to sit down in bad weather. And that was the log, show how many miles we've been sailing. And we have all the lanterns. So we put the light, just press one button for sailing, then it turns out and all the light buttons for the ferry. The IRS to show who we are, where we're on our way to, and how many passengers on board, so they know that. That was the GPS. Monopoly. This is the if the chief of the captain that monitor the sail, so he can have so he can steer from here too if you want to. He has a radar in front of him. Usually one radar is set for 3 miles and the other one is 6, so we look in different distance. And we switch, so it's one trip is the captain and the next one is the chief officer. That's the radio. So we had it on VHF. We have it on channel 16, so everybody in the world listen to that. And that's the EGDIS, our digital navigation charts, so we can see where we are sailing and obstacle and land. We also have a backup over there because we don't have paper charts, so we need to have backup. That is for information, a PA, so we can make announcement for the passengers. We can also put on alerts if there's a fire or evacuation. And then we have the foghorn to different type if we are anchor or sailing. And we have 2 projectors here, so we have light in front. We can have a joystick for it. That's the main throttle in the middle, so that's usually the one we use when we are sailing. Another VFH radio put on Aarhus Harbor, channel 12. So we can listen for that. That is the stabilizer. We have, if it's bad weather, we can put these down in the back of the ship and the ferry. So it's kind of stabilizing it. Also, we can make the ferry get up and sail high speed very fast. So it's kind of smart. It's automatic, so but we can change it. We had the cameras again all around the ferry to see passengers areas and see if something. We have window wipers for all windows. This is where the one that's sailing the ferry is sitting in this chair. We call it the captain's seat, but it's not all with the captain. So, and that's the radar 2. Usually if the other one is set for 3, this one is for 6. And that's the autopilot. We can steer the ferry from this little joystick here. It's mounted in the seat. We also have it here where you can do both rudders and you can split them, so you can do one at the starboard or the back port side. So, and the most important thing, the radio with music. That's where we switch the radar. That's the steering machines. So we have one rudder in each side. So the hydraulics for it. That's the depth meter. And now we have the engine RPMs to look at here. That's usually the engineer sitting looking at that. He has a lot of stuff over here. I don't have any idea what it is for. So, but he can change and look at it because it's so small, the engine room. So he's not sitting in there. He's actually sitting up here beside us. So yeah, you can see he has cameras in the engine, so both starboard and port side. So he can look what if anything wrong. He's in the chair. So, and he's doing a lot of computer work, as you see. So he has this panel too, so he can go for prompts and stuff, and all the ventilation and fire extinguishers and all the things he's need to do that. And this, if we're going to put port side ashore, so we have the same thing over here as we had in starboard. Only thing here is we have the now text here in front of us. Yeah, we don't use that area very much. So otherwise, it's almost the same. We have coffee machines, printers, and this is where we sit. We have a conning display where we can see rudders and the course we're sailing. So it's kind of good for the one sailing the ferry. And then we are back in starboard side. So that was it. Thank you for watching.
Du har det hele derinde, tak.